A Charlie Brown Christmas, Laugh Track Edition. Everyone knows the classic Peanuts Christmas special I'm talking about, but what's less known is that during the production of A Charlie Brown Christmas, there were quite a few rifts between the network and Charles Schulz, the creator of the Peanuts comic. It was pretty common for cartoons to have laugh tracks at the time, and deviating from this was seen as a big risk, as CBS feared low ratings because they believed audiences wouldn't connect to the special as well. So the special was made without a laugh track, and CBS made a backup version of the special with a laugh track to air in subsequent airings if the special didn't get the ratings the network wanted. Obviously, since A Charlie Brown Christmas was very successful, this laugh track version was never released. Animated atrocities. As this series of YouTube videos has reached almost 200 episodes and almost a decade of existence, it's bound to have a few lost episodes here and there. He's actually made a spreadsheet of every episode, which I will link in the description. On it, there are a few notable standouts. The Lupe's Revenge review from 2013 was available for some time, but now only exists in audio form. And the Dexter vs. Santa's Claus review was removed due to copyright. However, John has maintained that it's so bad he doesn't want it back anyway. Every other episode does seem to be available in some way, even if not completely endorsed by John himself. As of now, the likelihood of an official release for any of these lost episodes is very low. A Christmas Story deleted scenes. A Christmas Story is one of the most iconic Christmas specials ever, and like most movies, it has a few deleted scenes. These never made it as extra content on any DVD release, however. The first of these involves a fantasy of rescuing Flash Gordon, a character from his comic book, using the Red Ryder BB gun, which he wants for Christmas. The second one involves a similar setup, this time having Ralphie rescue Santa using his BB gun, for which he gets rewarded with presents. There's conflicting evidence on whether the footage for these scenes even still exists. The only evidence for either scene's existence is the scripts, and the fact that the music used in the first scene is still available to listen to on the official movie soundtrack.
Hello.
It's time for the interview to begin.
Do it.
Beck Hansen rewrote the laws of pop music by tossing out the rulebook. Marching to his own beat, he took a brave approach that broke musical barriers for others to follow.
BTM and BTM2. BTM stands for Behind the Music, and it was a VH1 series documenting anything and everything to do with the music industry. Over the 17 years and 200 plus episodes, quite a few of them ended up lost. However, for some time they were available on VH1's website. Complications with copyright led to many of them being taken down before that entire section of the website was changed. So now it just redirects to the main page of VH1's website. The only available full episodes are recordings uploaded onto YouTube, and small bits of footage from the original show can be seen in the Paramount Plus reboot. As for the spin-off BTM2, it's a lot more rare. The spin-off/sequel series has some differences, such as a focus on more modern music and shorter episodes. BTM2 ended a lot quieter, with only 10 episodes, and virtually no mention on VH1's website. And today, only a few episodes have survived, with a good portion of them still being lost. Miracle of the White Reindeer. This film was surrounded by controversy that made any kind of concrete information very hard to find. The film supposedly began production in 1957, where certain issues cropped up during the production. One of the actors sued the producers over payments not being made, which delayed production and ultimately ended in certain behind-the-scenes roles shifting after the actor won the lawsuit. Very little is known about the plot of this movie. What can be extracted is that it's about a search for a new reindeer for Santa Claus. Much of the advertising for this film implies it was intended for a family audience, although even that's not concrete. The film's release date isn't certain, with sources placing it anywhere from 1960 to 1962. Due to the lack of home media release and uncertainty around whether it ever aired on TV, it's likely that production materials are all that will remain available. G.I. Joe Lost Death Scene. In the 1987 G.I. Joe movie, there was to originally be a scene where the character Duke Hauser dies after an assassination attempt by Serpentor. This scene was changed at the last minute, where Duke goes into a coma instead. Apparently, the production crew planned to do this, and inspired by this, the Transformers crew killed off Optimus Prime. And after the backlash at that, the death scene was altered at the last minute. In a move intended to avoid backlash, the G.I. Joe movie still received it anyway. No actual animation was changed, only the usage of it was. And since it was far enough in production, the original audio might have already been recorded. But this is not confirmed, and if it ever was recorded, it's lost today. Whether or not you consider it to be a Christmas movie, it's certainly undeniable that the 1993 film The Nightmare Before Christmas has made its mark culturally, and it certainly has more of an argument than Die Hard. Early in production, Vincent Price was cast as the role of Santa Claus, although, due to declining health, his voice had changed to the point that they could not use his recordings. Santa Claus' voice was recast as Ed Ivory, and director Henry Selick has pointed out just how difficult that voice was to cast, as he stated in a Daily Beast interview. As of now, it's unknown if the original recordings exist, and if so, whose possession they'd be in.
Loading complete. Disney XD is now DXP. From 9 until 3, you're watching DXP. General audience programming for gamers of all ages. Game on.
During the summer of 2017, Disney XD began airing video game content from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. This block was called DXP, and it wasn't a huge hit. Most of the people who didn't experience this block were exposed to it the same way I was, which was through Rebel Taxi's video on the subject, which I highly recommend. Many programs were either picked up from the internet, inspired by the internet, or were just esports. Some shows like Parker Plays still get aired in reruns every once in a while, but generally Disney has tried to bury most of this content. A good portion of it is lost, with archivists trying to maintain at least a little of it, but generally a lot of what's aired is missing today. A Tin Toy Christmas. A Tin Toy Christmas was Pixar's attempt at a proof of concept of a feature-length film, as during the 90s when this was being produced, they mainly made short films. Pixar was very close to bankruptcy during the making of A Tin Toy Christmas, and due to that urgency, many difficult decisions were made. The idea shifted away from being a 30-minute Christmas special at the request of then Pixar Vice President Ed Catmull, though President Peter Schneider had apprehensions. Eventually, the full-length film idea became Toy Story, and thus, whatever was left of A Tin Toy Christmas has mostly become lost. Some storyboards are available, but it's unknown how much of the film was made before the idea got shelved. Since the idea was mostly used to get Pixar out of its financial woes, no one at Pixar was likely super passionate about the idea, especially since it reused its main character from one of Pixar's earlier shorts.
So as sad as it is to end the tour, it's really, really exciting to see what we're going to do next. I've always said that this band could do anything, but at this point, when you look at all of our careers and everything that we all three have done independently and outside of Blink, we did some of the best growing as musicians on the last Blink record and right afterwards.
The Blinkumentary. This was a documentary made in 2009 at the return of Blink-182 and was about the tours thereafter. Little by little, footage was released by the band as the release of the documentary kept getting pushed further and further back. Years later, the band gave up on trying to release it as certain problems kept getting in the way, such as conflict within the band and meddling by the label executives. Some more footage since then has been released here and there, such as a clip uploaded to the producer's Vimeo page. As of now, only a few pieces of footage are available to watch, which doesn't even come close to the whole documentary. It's unknown if the band would still be open to officially releasing the documentary, so don't hold your breath for it anytime soon.